With your CIGTV News Update, I'm Donna Bush. Thanks for being here with us. Last Friday, more than 750 students from 20 public and private primary schools on the island competed in the annual Inter-Primary Sports Day. Red Bay Primary are the champions, followed by Savannah Primary and then Sir John A. Cumber Primaries in West Bay. The track and field and cheerleading events took place at the Truman Bodden Sports Complex, where hundreds of parents, teachers, and other supporters turned out to cheer on their favorite athletes and schools, all aiming to win the overall championships. Now, the day started with the parade of athletes during the opening ceremony. Awards were presented at the end of the day. We say congratulations to all of the athletes as well as the winning schools. Meantime, thousands of residents and visitors went to the annual Taste of Cayman event held at Cayman Bay on Saturday. Government Department, Children and Family Services sponsored a booth at the event to promote MASH, that's the Multi-Agency Safeguarding Hub, and child safeguarding on a whole in our community, along with the other services provided by the department. Now, the initiative was supported by funding through Hedge Fund Care, and the booth was manned by department staff, social workers, as well as community development staff for some 5 hours on the day. Attendees were able to enjoy great music at Taste of Cayman, as well as amazing foods and a fantastic atmosphere. The island's event is now considered the best premier food and wine festival in the region. Finally, communities across Grand Cayman now have 93 less derelict vehicles lying around their neighborhoods. Recently, the Department of Environmental Health removed the old vehicles, addressing some of the long-standing nuisances on island. We have been able to significantly reduce the number of vehicles that pose an immediate threat to public health, said DEH Acting Director Mr. Richard Sims. He says we intend to reduce the population of derelict vehicles even further as the program continues. Mr. Sims discourages residents from disposing of derelict vehicles in public spaces or in a manner that may be harmful to public health. Now, the acting director, however, urges residents to dispose of derelict vehicles at the Georgetown landfill. As he says, this is free of cost and will help to alleviate many of the nuisances that currently plague pockets of the island. Now, for additional information, you can call the DEH at 949-6696 or send them an email to dehcustomerservice@gov.ky. And that ends your news update here on CIG Television. If you missed it, as always, you can go to the Cayman Islands Government Facebook page as well as the CIG Television YouTube channel. I'm Donna Bush, as always, thanking you for joining us, wishing you a wonderful and, of course, a very safe night, and inviting you back here again tomorrow. Until then, bye-bye for now. Did you know that planning permission is required for a shed? Did you know you should check with the department, as a planning and permit application may be required? Did you know planning permission is required to clear land by mechanical means? You should check with the department, as a planning and permit application may be required.
Boating, fishing, and water sports in the Cayman Islands are great, but keep a cool head. Here are 7 tips for fun and safe sea outings. Number 1, use a checklist to plan your outing. Check the weather forecast, make a float plan, and share it with someone who is remaining on land, stating where you're going, with whom, and when you're expected to return. Visit your nearest marine supply store to get your safety gear. This includes signaling mirrors, whistles, and a flare kit. It's also very important to have onboard flotation devices and life vests for each person. There are different types of vests. Some are for water sport activities such as snorkeling, and others are for going on offshore boating or on fishing trips. Number 2, these items can be lifesavers in case of an accident or bad weather. Number 3, use a motor kill switch, especially if you're boating alone. In case of a leak or breakdown, always stay with the boat until help arrives. If you capsize, an emergency beacon or locator device can send a distress signal to inform the authorities of your location. Larger flares will indicate distress to a boat, airplane, or search and rescue officials. Number 4. In addition to sunscreen, food, and beverages, it would be smart to have a cell phone. Make sure your marine radio works. Cayman boaters use Channel 16 to communicate. Number 5. Also, don't forget your anchor and sufficient rope. Number 6. Boat operators should be familiar with the local waters and reefs, as well as the capabilities and functions of the vessels they are using. Always obey the rules of the sea and the marine environment, and have courtesy for others. Number 7. Alcohol and salt water do not mix, especially if you're the captain. Some useful contact numbers are 911. The RCIPS Marine Base is 649-7710, and the Port Authority is 949-2055. Smooth sailing, all!
I'm Jody Ann Fowry. I'm the Police Media Officer with the RCIPS, and I'm here to give you some crime prevention tips on how to best protect your property. The first thing that we want to discuss is our points of entries. Let's start with the front door, and then we'll move on to the windows and the back doors or sliding glass doors. The first thing to consider is the front door. This particular front door has 2 deadbolt locks. One of these deadbolt locks are properly carpentered and the other is not. When your door is properly locked, you'll hear a click at the end and the deadbolts are not able to move. If it is slightly opened, then you can push the deadbolt back without having any restrictions. I'll now proceed to show you what your lock should look like when it is properly locked. When it comes to your windows, you want to make sure that your window is locked all the way down, because even though the lock is on, if it's not all the way down, it can still be pried. The proper way to lock the window is to make sure that the window goes all the way down to the seal and then you pull across the lock. When you have a sliding glass door at home, you want to make sure that you have secondary locking devices in addition to the lock that comes with the door. One of those can be a simple piece of wood that's jamming the doorway. We want to encourage you to ensure that you don't make things easy for burglars who are looking for opportunities to break into property by leaving your property out in plain view. Some of these items are your car keys, your electronics, and your handbags. Make sure that you put these properties away when you're leaving the house or when you're going to bed. When you're going camping or if you're taking your family on a trip, you want to ensure that your property has some sign of life. This can be done by leaving a light on or putting timers on your lights. And we want to ensure that our family homes are safe. In order to do so, we encourage that people take the proper precautions by starting up neighborhood watches or encouraging family members or persons they trust to check on their properties while they're away.
Did you know that planning permission is required for an addition, alteration, or any material change to your house? The 10% rule no longer exists. Did you know you should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required? Did you know your mailing address details on your land register must be up to date in order to receive notices on new development which may impact you? Visit Lands and Survey Department to check your mailing address is correct. Did you know that a deck more than 6 inches above finished grade requires planning permission? Did you know you should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required?